Hey guys, it's Uniformed Historian. Happy Halloween. We're at the historic Glen Ferris Inn, and you're going to meet some of my new friends. You're going to see some really cool places, but there's a lot of creepy stories associated with this historic place, so let's check it out. I was thinking that I might tell you just a teensy little bit about the history of this place. This started out as a private residence in the early 1800s. In the 1830s, it became a hotel, travel, inn type thing. Sort of like the equivalent of a bed and breakfast today for travelers going down the turnpike and along the river out there. And it's been in operation ever since the 1830s, serving travelers along the road here. Beautiful Kanawha Falls is just over here if you want to go fishing, take a look, have a picnic with your family. It's a really nice little historic area. Lots of history here too, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the history and a little bit about the ghosts that currently reside here. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I thought it would be something different than just hearing my same usual stories that you hear every single year, because Jill has been here for a while and she knows a thing or two about the ghosts that are here, so I really hope you guys are going to like this one. Hey guys, I'm inside the historic Glen Ferris Inn with Jill, who is agreeing to show us around and tell us some ghostly stories about this place. Some of them associated with the Civil War, some of them not, but this is the Halloween special, and we are going to start our tour with the basement, where I'm told some really creepy stuff began, so stay tuned. Okay, so the Uniformed Historian is sometimes a real genius, and I forget, y'all don't know my friends like I do, so I thought maybe I should actually take a minute to actually introduce you to Jill. She's been here at the Glen Ferris Inn for, what, 2 years now?
Probably about 2 years, yes.
Yeah.
So I came as a baker, and I kind of like get pulled in every direction, as you've seen today. So like we have full service bars, so bartending and baking and tour guiding.
Fair enough. Well, now that y'all know a little bit about Jill, let's roll into the spooky stuff. Alrighty, so we're in the basement now of the Glen Ferris Inn, and Jill says that she's had some interesting things happen down here.
I have. The spirits in the basement don't like people, typically. So not this past New Year's Eve, but the year before that, I was with a ghost hunting group, and we were doing Toast with Ghosts. So they had me down here. They were filtering groups down here for tours. So I'm down here by myself, and my equipment is going crazy. And when they started filtering groups with me, dead silence. That was a pun. Dead silence. So I'm even up in the crawl space, trying to get something to, and nothing. So midnight, we go up for the toast. I come back down at 1 in the morning to pick up all my stuff by myself, and it's all going crazy. So you've got the spirit of two girls down here. One is a 19-year-old girl, one's about a 13-year-old girl. They don't like men. No offense.
None taken.
So they do not like men. They're not crazy about me, but they will interact with me. They're used to me, I think. So we were down here a couple weeks ago. One of our regulars and then one of our hotel guests wanted to come down and do a little ghost hunting. So I was like, all right, well, let's go to the basement. I knew if I brought two men down here, that she wouldn't like them, and she would at least make the equipment go off. So you don't want to antagonize ghosts. Like, you just don't do that. You talk to him with respect, and you talk to him like I'm talking to you. So we're down here, and the one guy, he's like, I need you to show me something. I need you to do something. Antagonizing this ghost. I was like, you need to stop. Like, it's not going to go well. So I have my flashlight is set up there, my room pod is up there, and I have my phone in my hand. I have an app on my phone. So the app is going, and it's spilling out words, and he said, you're doing all this because my equipment's going off, and he said, you're doing all this with your phone. I was like, I'm not. And he was like, well, set your phone down. So I turned my phone off, set it down on the floor. My equipment's off at this point. So right about the time I sat the phone down and I get set back down, the flashlight comes on by itself, and this little can comes flying through from the back, flies through, and just like at the same time, so the light comes on so that we can see this can fly up, and it just lands right in front of us.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like right beside my phone. So without even a thought, he is up out the door. I was like, wait a minute, y'all gotta wait on me. They were gone. Yeah, they were not happy. So it's just, like I said, they don't usually like a big group of people, but like a small group. I had 2 people down here last night, and they weren't really into talking to us, but when they do, they really show out down here. So the basement's pretty wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty spooky in itself, but I bet there's even more stuff around here to check out.
There is, absolutely.
Well, let's go check it out then.
Okay, let's go.
So you're telling me that this was the honeymoon suite, and there's some stuff that goes on up here?
Yes. Room 201, it's right there, that room. It's the honeymoon suite. I'll often connect with the spirit Alan in there, and it's the same spirit. He always comes through, and he's been here for, I think he told me like 200 years, something like that. But anyway, you can get in good conversations with Alan. He also will tell me, like, I'll ask him, I'll say, okay, where should we go? Like, where's the hot spots in the hotel tonight? And he'll tell us where we should go. He told us one day that 302 had a non-human spirit in there. So we, of course, we had to go to 302 and investigate, and we connected with something up there. 301, right above that, 301 right above that is the 3-bedroom suite. I said 3-bedroom suite. 3-bedroom suite. That one's not very active in the suite itself, but like we've had people up there in the shower have the lights turned off on them while they're in the shower. There's been a couple things like that, but there's some famous YouTubers, I don't know if I can say their names, but anyway, they came here and I gave them a tour and we went ghost hunting, and they had 301 booked because there was 3 of them, and we were in the closet and we were connecting there. It's calling them out by name, and like we're having good interaction, good communication, and then Spirit says it's going to watch one of them sleep at night.
That's not creepy.
They left as soon as we were done with our ghost hunt. They left the hotel. So 301 is, and I was up there, like we have some pretty regular guests that stay in there, so they wanted to go hunt, so we went in there, and they were running to get out of the room, and they fell over top of each other, which was pretty funny. But it's the same thing, it's the closet, you know, communicating in the closet, and they call them out by name, and so 201 and 301 are pretty active.
Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm standing in what's now the dining room area of the historic Glen Ferris Inn, and the door that you see behind me is the original door that's been here for years and years since this place opened up as a hotel. The stagecoaches would roll right up here, fresh off the dirt road. The doors would open and folks would come right into the Glen Ferris Inn. And we're not just talking your everyday visitors either. We're talking about some very famous people like President John Tyler, Rutherford B. Hayes, William McKinley when they were in the Army just across the river, John Floyd as he was directing Confederate forces during the Civil War, Henry Clay, Andrew Jackson, U.S. President, all sorts of folks would have walked right through here during their lifetime visiting what is now West Virginia. Now, it wouldn't be a uniformed historian episode if there wasn't a little bit of Civil War history attached to it. There were several Civil War well-known figures that stayed in this hotel and the surrounding area during our nation's most bloody conflict. And as a result, there are some Civil War ghost stories associated with the place. And the one that I am here to inquire about is one called the Colonel, I believe?
Yes. Yes, we have the Colonel here. He has never came, like we've never been able to identify like who he is specifically other than just the Colonel. So we have had people, spottings of going past the hotel and seeing him through the windows. The employees, he likes to sit here at this table and with his, you know, right here in the corner with his back to the window. He likes to sit in the corner of the other dining room, but he spends the majority of his time in this dining room. We've had employees come to work and seeing people through the window, like a man through the window, and thought somebody was here to eat, and then come in and there be nobody here. So it's the Colonel. We have had people drive by, and actually a friend of mine, there were 2 of them in the vehicle. They're driving by and they see the Colonel crossing the road, and he stops and looks at them and then turns back around and keeps walking and then disappears. So I've actually connected with the Colonel through my ghost hunting equipment. He's come through and, you know, let me know that he was here and that he didn't want to communicate with me. So yeah, we've had a lot of occurrences of the Colonel.
That's pretty cool. And you know me, I love a good ghost story, but especially when there's a Civil War connection to it, those are always my favorites. So I had to share this one with you guys, and I really appreciate you taking the time to share that with us.
Of course.
About the checkout room 208, and Jill is going to tell us a little bit more about the hauntings associated with this room. I'm going to let her take it away.
Hello. All right, so we have got a lot of paranormal entities here at the hotel. One in particular, well, two in particular, pretty much stay to this area. So the story has it, in room 208, we had some French people. There was Richard and there was Isabel and their son William. So Richard is gone one day and Isabel is watching William. He's outside playing. She looks out the window and he's in the river, because we're like right on the river.
Yeah, y'all can't see out the window, but trust me, it's right there.
It's right there. So, and the falls are right there. So if you, the current in there, if you fall in the river, like it's bad. So he's in the river, he dies. And Richard comes in, he is just very, you know, of course, grief stricken, you know, it's his son. Mm-hmm. So he kills Isabel. And the story has it that he pushed her off the balcony. There's a balcony on the second floor. So people have seen like the lady in white through the window, and that's supposedly Isabel. Now, we've had paranormal groups come through, and one of them, they were here several months back, and they're in this room. And my cousin was here. She was participating in that. She's not a ghost hunter, but she was just here like observing. And she saw one of the girls from that group in the bathroom, and she was doing the Estes method, where you have the headphones on and you can't hear what's going on, but you can hear spirits coming through the spirit box. So my cousin, right about that time, something happened to her stepdaughter. She got touched or something, and she freaked out. She's taken her out of the room, but on the way out, she sees this girl with the headphones on, and she's like grasping her neck, like she's being choked, like towards the bathroom. So after she takes her out, she gets her calmed down, and then they meet back up with their group. So she asked the girl, she was like, "Are you okay? Like you were choking?" And the girl had no remembrance of any of it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no remembrance of any of this. So I
That's
think,
creepy.
Yeah, my feeling is Isabel was kind of like coming through to show her he killed me. He choked me in the bathroom. So I've investigated this room multiple times, and if you set your REM pod up or your any equipment in the bathroom, it goes insane. So it's crazy in here. But it was Halloween last year. We had a couple checking in. The woman was pregnant. Her husband was outside carrying their stuff in. She comes up here to get their stuff settled in, or to get settled in. And she turns around and there's a woman behind her, full body woman. She freaks out, runs down to the desk, says, "I'm not staying here." Like, and her husband comes in and he's like, "What is wrong?" And then she tells him, she was like, "There was a woman in our room," and then she was gone. So a couple days later, I'm working the desk and I have my equipment. I always, if you check in and I'm working the desk, there's a good chance that there's ghost equipment around you. You just don't see it. Mm-hmm. And so I'm talking to the spirit, and I'm like, you know, she was a mother. So I'm like, "Were you, Isabel, was that you up there?" And she, you know, confirmed yes. And I said, "Were you just like trying to check on her?" And so basically, spirit says she was in here checking on her, and then when she got freaked out, like, she thought it was really funny because we're their entertainment. So anyway, 208, if you get a chance to come here and stay in 208 if you want an experience, because it's always crazy in here.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So to begin winding down our evening of adventure here at the historic Glen Ferris Inn, I've invited Jill to tell us a couple more stories that have happened here in the newer section of the hotel.
Okay, so we are here from somebody who's here 24/7. So there's always something going on, always somebody here. And if you just stop and you kind of observe, a lot of times you miss things because everybody's in a hurry constantly. So after hours, sometimes we will just turn the lights down in the dining room and sit at the bar area and just observe. So we were here, it's been a couple weeks ago, and in the dining room, which after the fact, I found out that we had a paranormal team here investigating, and they talked about it on their YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
You could see almost like kids playing hide and seek. So you have like shadow figures peeking up behind the tables and like peeking up looking at us, and then they would peek up over here and you could see like a break in the light where they were moving through the dining room. You could see them from the outside looking in. One of the employees' husbands was with us, and he took a picture from the outside, and in the picture he got what looked to be like a historic, almost like a preteen looking through the window, and you can see the hands, you can see the face, like everything looking in at us while we were sitting there. But you can hear, like, I'm here a lot late, and like I was in the bakery one night, I walked into the kitchen, and every time I walked into the kitchen there was a figure of a person standing by the pop machine, and he would duck around, and then the last time I walked in, he ran, and I got a little bit tickled. I was like, you don't have to run, like, you know, I'm here all the time. But we have had, like, I've been standing at the register before, and you'll see, I saw a figure come through at the front door towards the river, and then when he got to the pie cooler, he just disappeared. It's just, like I said, if you just slow down long enough to just observe your surroundings, it's really, it's an experience to be here.
Sounds like a place I'd really enjoy coming and just hanging out for a whole evening sometime.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but Jill, I cannot thank you enough for joining us here this evening and showing us around and telling us some of your spooky stories.
Yes, absolutely, anytime.
And I'll definitely look forward to hanging out with you again soon.
Absolutely, we love it.
Thanks again for joining me tonight at the historic Glen Ferris Inn in Glen Ferris, West Virginia. We've heard a lot of spooky stories tonight, courtesy of my new friend Jill, who works here, her family, her friends, Pete, the owner here. I just have to give a huge shout out and say a huge thank you to the staff. Everybody here has been super friendly and super welcoming. They have taken time out of their day to welcome me into the hotel during normal operating business hours. They've stepped away from their jobs to tell me stories, tell me a little bit about the history of the hotel. And if you ever get a chance to come pay a visit to them down here, make sure they know the Uniformed Historian sent you. I promise it will not be a wasted trip. So take care, God bless, happy Halloween, and I'll see you guys at the next Uniformed Historian site.